Have you ever had one of those work sessions where you're just in deep focus and time is slipping by and you don't even realize it because you're so focused on what you're doing and you're getting ish done? I love those days, and I really wish I could recreate them more often than not. Well, if that's you, and if that's your hope is to get more into flow state where you can really get a lot done and be super productive, this episode is for you. I am talking about 5 tips to help you get into flow state just a little faster. Episode 245 starts right now. Welcome to the Laura Shipman Show minicast, a special edition of my podcast where it's just you, me, my mic, your earphones, plus quick tips and hacks you can implement immediately to improve your life and your business. Are you ready to get started? I know I am. Let's dive in. Well, hey there, friend. Welcome back. I am so excited you are here with me today because today is my most favorite day of the week. It's minicast day. And if you've never been here for a minicast, well, friend, you are missing out because today's the day I give you a little shot in the arm of value and you take what you've learned here and then execute it in your daily life and things just get better. And today we're talking about getting into flow state and getting into flow state faster. I love flow state. And if you're not familiar with flow state, I bet you have experienced it before. It's this state of mind where you're working along or you're doing something and you don't even realize the passage of time. Yet it's so satisfying what's going on for you. Like you're really productive, you're really efficient, you're having fun. It's just lighting up your brain. And like I said before, you just get a lot done. I love it when I find myself in flow state and I really want to stay there for as long as I can because when I'm there, I know I'm ticking off everything on my to-do list. Plus, I'm moving closer and closer to my goals. So let's break it down. Let's figure out how you can get into flow state a little bit quicker. The first tip seems a little obvious, but that is to totally get rid of and limit distractions and notifications. That means when you want to get something done and you want to be in deep focus, that means shutting off your phone, that means shutting off all sorts of notifications that bombard you throughout the day so you can just pay attention to one task. And it's important to note here, when you're going into flow state, you don't want to toggle between tasks and bounce around because your brain doesn't really work efficiently when it's doing that. Instead of what you think you might be doing as multitasking, your brain is really toggling. It's bouncing back and forth, it's stopping and starting, and that's not efficient at all. So in order to get into flow state, you're going to limit those distractions so you stay focused and understand that it takes about 10 to 15 minutes for your brain to get into deep focus. And the minute that it's distracted by something else, that's a break in productivity, right? It takes your brain another 25 minutes just to get back to the state you were in before you were distracted. So it's really important to set your environment up for success. And that means maybe putting your phone in another room or turning it off completely so that you can focus and get into flow state. Now, those are only external distractions. There are also internal distractions, right? It's what's going on in your mind and in your brain. Your brain is always active and doing things, and it's remembering things or ideas are popping in. And there's just a lot of activity that goes on. When you get into flow state, one of the things you want to do is minimize that internal chatter. And there's 2 things that can really help you do that so you can stay focused on the tasks that you want to stay focused on. So the first one is journaling. A lot of people like to make this a part of their morning routine where they get up and they just brain dump on paper all the things that are popping up and bubbling up in their head. It just helps to organize your thoughts so that you aren't continually, remembering them throughout the day. If you put them down on paper, they're somewhere safe that you can always go back to. And the other thing that's really helpful in minimizing your internal distractions is meditation. Being able to learn how to calm your mind. So when those things start bubbling up, you can fall back on your practice of meditation and simmer those things down, quiet them down until you're ready to deal with them later. So now that we have all of our little distractions put away for a while so we can focus on what we're doing, the next thing you need to figure out is your biological peak time. Everybody's got one and everybody's is different. Some people are really good first thing in the morning, other people midday, other people later on in the afternoon. This is where everything comes together for you, where you're the most creative and the most productive. It's just a natural biorhythm of time for your body. So I'm going to be honest here. Mine is strange. I'm a night person, and I was nicknamed as a child growing up night owl because I was always up at night and I loved being up at night. So that means my biological peak time is actually around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, most people is early in the day because their brains are fresh, they're more creative then. That's not me. It takes me a little bit of time to get revving. So I like to schedule my day where I'm taking care of my physical needs, meaning I am exercising, I'm getting all of myself ready to go so that I can be productive later on in the day. And then that means I probably work later at night than most people do. When they're shutting down, I'm basically just turning on. So what you want to do is figure out what that time for you is, what time of day that is for you, and harness that energy, like make that energy count for you in your business. So if it's first thing in the morning, then that's when you're going to want to get into flow state. First thing in the morning, you're going to want to sit at your desk and be as creative as you possibly can for as long as you can, and then handle the stuff that doesn't really need your focus so much to do, and you'll do that later on. For me, I take care of those little odds and ends in the morning, and then in the afternoon, that's when my creative juices start flowing, and that's when I can really get into flow state. The next tip is music. And that would sound like it would be an external distraction. But if it's the right type of music, it can actually help you get into focus, especially if it's a rhythmic, instrumental type music, nothing with vocals. So there are a couple of tools and things that I use for music to get me into flow state. So I'll go to YouTube and I will search either deep focus or there's a channel called Chill Hop. Those two channels have the type of music that I'm talking about that doesn't get interrupted. So you actually don't know when one piece starts and another piece ends. It just sounds like one continual piece of music. It does kind of fluctuate from sounds and tempos and things like that, but it's not in your face for the changes. And then Spotify, if you're a Spotify listener, they also have a playlist that's called Deep Focus. So go ahead and try those out and see if they help you get into flow state. Some people really like classical music because it's that same kind of music that's continual. There's really no breaks in the patterns, but yet they do change, right? So it's really interesting. It just ends up to be an environmental sound for you to work to and really help you stay focused on what you're doing work-wise. Tip number 5 is to stay focused on one task. Don't bounce between tasks because remember, it takes time for your brain to get into that flow state. And then when you break that pattern of flow state, it takes even more time for your brain to get back into the state it was. So if possible, try and chunk your time in 25 to 30 minute increments and stay focused on one task. So what I like to do is I like to set alarms for myself, and I use the Pomodoro technique quite a bit, where I'll set 25 to 30 minute alarms and work for sprints of 25 to 30 minutes. And when that alarm goes off, I will take a break, let my brain relax. And then when I come back to work, I'll either continue working on the same project, or if I need to change, I will change at that time. And that's it. Those are the 5 things I do to help me get into flow state just a little quicker. And if there was a 6th bonus tip I would share with you, it would be hydrate. Make sure you always keep water next to you because your brain is made up of so much water. If it gets dehydrated, it starts to get sluggish and it's not as creative as it could be when in flow state. All right, my friends, so those are my 5 tips to get into flow state. Now you have a job to do, and that is to go out and figure out when your flow state is going to be and then execute all of these things, helping you get into a productive, efficient flow state for you and your business. All right, that does it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, but most of all, stay social. Hey, before you go, I have a question for you. Are you loving the show? Let me know about it. Take a screenshot of the episode you are listening to and drop it in your social media posts or stories. Or better yet, give this show a review on iTunes or your favorite podcast app, letting me know that you listened in. If you have a topic or a show idea, please don't be shy. I want to hear from you. Send me an email or a DM. I would love to hear your suggestions. All the links are in the show notes. Anyways, I just wanted to say thank you, as always, for tuning into the show today and every day you listen in.